So first off, again, Mark Glass, and y'all just bear with me a little bit. I just want to say thanks. Thank you for everything that you do. Coming to this forum is amazing, and this, I will tell you, for me, as the Chief Domestic Security Officer for the state of Florida, this is amazing to bring industry and all the other important people that deal with security into one area. The ports are everything. If you cannot move commodities, you've shut down the whole United States. So the things we want to show you here at Florida, in Florida, what we do in domestic security, since I'm the, if you read 943, it says that I'm the Chief Domestic Security Officer. I'm coordinate and direct. So I'm a chief cat herder. So trying to get everybody on the same sheet of music is difficult sometimes. And I see Mark over here, he knows what I'm talking about. So, but it's good. I've been around for a little while. I've worked in the ports. I've actually boarded ships with the U.S. Coast Guard. I've actually done a bunch of different things when it comes to port security. I was a port security man back early part of my, when I first started right out of high school. So I do understand the industry a little bit. And then within law enforcement, the security side, I understand that part. My national intelligence, as a national intelligence officer in the intelligence community, I understand that side of it. And also, just in my position now, how to bring all the people together. That's the biggest issue. So in Florida, we don't do it better than anybody, we just do it more often. We deal with hurricanes, natural and man-made disasters. One of it is the natural side is where I'm really have to pay attention to. Prevention. How do we prevent it? How do you know what you prevented? How do we know? You know, the further away we get from 9/11, the closer we are to 9/10. And everywhere I go now, I'm the older guy now, and the majority of the people that I'm talking to don't even remember 9/11. They're either in diapers, and it's not saying anything bad about it. I can remember my parents, you know, and grandparents talking about Pearl Harbor. But if you don't learn from your history, you're bound to repeat it. And the things you heard up here in the panel speaking is one of the other issues we always having to pay attention to. What's the evolving threat? The Cold War's never stopped, no matter what anybody tells you. You have espionage going on all the time from foreign nations. You have industrial espionage. You have competitors going after each other sometimes in a nefarious way. You have criminal acts. We're dealing with a lot of mental health issues. It's a target-rich environment. And we're an open country. We ask you to come here. We ask you to bring your best and brightest. We ask you to innovate. And while we're innovating, those countries are stealing. And they're taking away from you and taking away from me. So having a group of people that can work together is huge with our critical infrastructure and key resources. Florida Department of Law Enforcement works hand in hand with public, private partnerships, and that's where our strength is. Not one agency can do this by themselves. We all have to do it. Whether you're retired, whether you're sitting at home, whether you're just going to the grocery store, we all have something to do with it. You heard the See Something, Say Something campaign. And you heard Todd Emmon, a good friend of mine, he said, see something, do something now. And we have to do something. We vet over 6,000, last year we vetted over, I think, 6,500 suspicious activity reporting. And that's everything from around your ports, around your neighborhoods, around other critical infrastructure, power grids, linear infrastructure, trains, really, really intense suspicious activity, not just hearsays and stuff like that. I think we ran about 1,400 cases off of that. Actually going down the pathway of trying to figure out what happened, who it is, arresting people, stopping or thwarting things that you never hear about. And I can tell you today, just in case there's reporters in here, there is no active threat that we know about as of today. So if I say something, there's no active threat that we're following or tracking. But I'm going to talk common sense with you. The threat is real. You see the war in Ukraine. You see how the battlefield evolves. You see unmanned aerial vehicles being utilized. And being a free society, we have a lot of laws that restricts us and what we can do. You see the things happen in Baltimore. I don't know, but I kind of watched that. I've never been briefed out on it, but I kind of watched it, and it looked like it was pretty suspect to me, the way the thing turned around and hit the bridge. But you have this happening left and right. How bad did it impact that port? We have stuff going around the Horn of Africa. Stuff we do at FDLE, our analysts pay attention to that internationally. When the Houthi rebels are acting up, when they're going after stuff there, we see a supply chain issue. We start predicting it. How bad is it if you have all your ships off at Anchorage area, can't do anything, can't get in the port? How does that impact our fiduciary capability for our great state and our nation? I mean, heck, we were down, I think, 36 hours at the one hurricane, just down, and that was just to get the water out, and it still didn't, I mean, it really wasn't that. 36 hours, that's no time. I mean, people almost lost their damn mind. But the professionals here were able to get it up and running, back and going again before it got out of hand. That's the type of professionals you have in our Florida ports. That's the type of coordination effort that you get from a public and private partnership. You cannot do anything by yourself. Communication is the key. Do not wait till disaster to start passing out your business card. It doesn't work that way. Having things like we're doing here, having time to network and be there and talk to each other and have that phone call that you can pick up and somebody trust you to get the information you need. In an open society as the United States is, and you're in a sunshine state, and there's sunshine laws, so everything's in the sunshine for the most part, I love that. I truly love that. But it takes patriots that want to make sure that we're protected. I have some of the best patriots that work for me, or I like to say I work for them, because they're here every day at night, 24 hours a day, looking at the threat that's incoming on our state. That's what they do. They're paying attention. They're doing write-ups. I'm getting called in the middle of the night. That's the type of stuff that we must be doing. If you're an industry leader, you got to invest in that. You have to invest in having your own analytical cells to pay attention to your commodities and how it transports and get in and out. Talked about the Houthi rebels. That was starting to back up shipping coming into the ports. Okay, well, what happens if it it starts backing up and you can't get to Port Everglades, Port of Tampa? You got to move that freight. You got to get it somewhere. You're going to go up the eastern seaboard, you're going to start dropping it where you can drop it. Then that puts another wrinkle in the plan, or commercial motor vehicles. Now you got to redirect a lot of them in the industry to go pick it up, to move it across. Trains. When you're so used to your port that you're delivering at and everything working off like it's supposed to, you disrupt the whole thing. Then we're dealing with people with commercial motor vehicle theft. Insurance industries, your rates go up, my rates go up. We're looking at commercial motor vehicles, how we can assist the federal motor carrier to look at different ways of how do we move commodities and make it less restrictive on the people that are transporting goods throughout our state on the highways, so they're not having to stop so much. We have technology. You're at UCF with Cyber Florida, looking at technology. So with technology, though, comes threat. You heard the weakest link is the human. Security's not comfortable. I don't want to do double factor authentication. It's not, I want to keep my same password I've kept since I got my AOL account. It happens, and we all fall prey to it if we're not paying attention to it. So we're talking about cranes. We saw that. Industry leaders and ports have to go, okay, how do I continue making the profit we need to make and not be in the red, and then you have a foreign nation selling you cranes at such a cheap price. Right? You got to think about it. Okay, well, that's good. It's at a cheap price. It's a cheaper price. But are you going to rely everything on that one entity in there? Do you have redundancy? Do you have the network backing? Do you have the capability to protect your network? Are you vetting the people that are installing it? Are they coming on site? Are they doing updates on site? Do you have the right cyber professionals that work for you, looking out for your best interests? That's the kind of stuff you have to think about. I understand the bottom dollar. You got to make a profit. I'm one of the best capitalists in here. But some of that, you have to make some decisions. And those decisions, if you're just looking at the bottom dollar, leaves you vulnerable, and you're going to lose more money. And then people can get hurt. And then it can stalemate our own state and our own country. For something as simple as doing a patch update. At FDLE, we do a lot of cyber intrusion work. We make sure we get called by the corporations to help them on this, the ones you pay for, to help mitigate it out of your system. Our professionals get called a lot. We want to make those arrests. But one of the best options you have in the state of Florida is your Fusion network. In 2007, I was sent down here from the IC. I'm a Florida boy, so I was able to come home. And we established the Florida Fusion Center Network. You have 8 fusion centers throughout our state. You've heard them talk about the regional domestic security task forces. There's one in every one of the task forces. If you're not a member of the regional domestic security task forces in your region, there's 7 regions in the state, I suggest you get part of it. You've heard one of the speakers up here talking about the RDSTF. The RDSTF is committees that are able to look at things differently and bring it to the table. The Fusion Network is more like your S2 for the military. This is your intel cell. They're able to take that information and start looking at it. I don't need access to your system. I don't want it. I need access to you. I don't need to have vetted to get in your private industry's information. I just need access to you. Can you share that information to solve the problem that we're facing? One of the voids we have is in private sector partnership. We are striving and really working hard, and I have one of my assistant special agents in charge, Jason Knowles, in the back, and Dan Markeith in the back. They are here to help you get part of that partnership. You're vetted just as any other law enforcement officer and other analysts. You get to see what we see, you get to be part of what we are part of. When it's industry-based or private sector, I understand nobody wants to let that when you've been had out the door. That changes your profit margin, or that may scare your investors, that may scare who's contracted with you. That's the beauty of the Fusion Network as a partnership. It won't leave that partnership. You share what you want to share. We're not going to do that. If it's an intelligence piece, it's exempted. But we have to have that trust and that capability to work together in order to make that work. We started a thing this year in Florida, Critical Infrastructure Key Resource Database. In Florida, Kicker is what we call it. So the Kicker, we've gotten, Jason, is over 30,000 critical infrastructure and key resources mapped in there. And that Kicker system has the ability to, they can tailor it to whatever you want it to see or whatever you want it to show. But when that police officer, deputy shows up because you have an event, they can see the schematics of what you got so they know where to go attack the threat. Or you need some other professional help to come to you because of a cyber issue. They know who to call, who to be part of. There's many things that that thing does, and I would love for your private partnership to be part of that, and Jason's here for that. Florida, again, we look at everything internationally, nationally, and locally. I said that the Cold War's not over. Never has been. The industrial espionage and the foreign nations that are coming here to get information is prevalent, more prevalent than it's ever been before. You have people probing your ports. Oh, it just looks like innocence. Is it? Is it? You have people working in your ports. Are they vetted? Hopefully. You're always going to have that, and we're starting our own counterintelligence piece. We do counterterrorism very well, but counterintel is an area that FDLE battle space is also. Counterintel is everything. It's a different trade craft. We are working with the FBI and other federal partners on that. You're not going to hear a lot about stuff like that, because you shouldn't. But what you do know, if you're part of the process, you do know something was done about it. The See Something, Say Something campaign, suspicious activity reporting, the NSI, National SAR Initiative. Getting your, whether it be a security guard working your perimeter, whether it be an admin assistant working in your area, to be part of the, understand what a SAR is, a suspicious activity reporting. Indicators, what to pay attention to, what to raise the flag on and give it to us. Or give it to that IFL, Interagency Fusion Liaison, one of your members, who you vetted, who's also vetted with us, who sees everything, to bring that into the fold so that we can vet it out. These are protections that we've been doing for years, and we're part of the National Fusion Center Network capability to share information and be collaborative. Again, we're not doing it by ourselves. I can't do it by ourselves. I can't do it by me. I can't. But it's hard to sleep at night sometimes for me, because I see how much we do miss. And I need your help. So this is a plea a little bit on that help. We do a lot of different things for this great state. You've heard a lot of stuff that what they were saying here, how to collaborate, how to be part of it, being active, going to these things. It's here, it's in here to help you and help your industry. But I will tell you, the Florida ports are what scares me the most. It's the most vital, critical infrastructure I believe we have for this great state and the nation. You've heard about Mayport, loadouts out of Mayport to warfight. You heard about, you got fuel coming in here that supports and takes care of most of Florida, especially the southern part of Florida. You have so many things that are coming in and out of here. And I just want to say, for those security directors of each one of these ports, my hat's off to you. It's very hard to protect, but you have a partnership here. I know I work with Mark Dabina, who's one of the best. What he's done here and how he's layered approach the Port of Tampa, that it takes layers to get through. That's what you should be doing. And if there's anything we can do to assist, we will help and assist. And I just want to convey to you, and I will give you my number, if you want to write it down, 850-879-5352. Say again, 850-879-5352. You can call me direct. Even if you don't know who to call, just call me direct and I will get you with the right person. And this is where this all falls into play. It's friendships equals partnerships, and that equals success for the state of Florida and for your industry. So I'm kind of opening it up a little bit. I know I'm before you and lunch, right? Before lunch. Okay, before lunch, so go figure on that one. And I had all these notes here, and I apologize I didn't even look at it, but I wanted to talk to you directly as a person, because I depend on you. I depend on the collaboration, and I depend on looking at everything we're doing, from workforce development, working with our colleges and universities, to working with your industry, to find those right folks that come to work for you, work for us, whatever it takes to make sure we're secure. With that, does anybody have any questions for me? Yes, ma'am. All right. Just for you, I will do that. 850-879-5352. You're welcome, ma'am. Yes, sir. So great question. If you didn't hear what he was saying, is about you see nefarious boats coming in into the ports, or they're blowing up outside the ports areas, I guess overseas, and you see it overseas. What you see overseas in the battlefield is going to, carries back here. I mean, that's the stuff we look at. We look at all that. And how do you defend against it? You heard today about UAVs. Well, vehicle is a boat. Can potentially, and it's submersible. We have so many restrictive laws that are there that I am trying to navigate. We are working with national labs on trying to come up with a way to do that. You heard us that we recalled a lot of DJI drones that first responders in ports and people were having, and we were able to bring in. I'm sitting on a bunch of them, so I'm working with the labs and also with Northcom and DHS. And we're going to be utilizing them as target practice because they're really nice drones, and because I have to get rid of them. So giving them different capabilities to show how to do drone mitigation. But we need to be looking at how do you stop submersibles or boats? I mean, you're seeing outside you have one, that you can program. We're looking at UAVs, running off GPS, not even being not even radio frequency. So you're tracking the radio frequency is not going to be there because they're just run off a pre-positioned GPS to get you there and then get you back out. It's very scary. So how do we do that? How we do that is working in partnership and coming up with these mitigation strategies. I mean, unleashing the minds that we have in our universities. And people we're hiring, there's some innovative people that are working for you now that are very innovative that can come up with stuff. Not one solution fixes it. And I was talking about Mark DuPont. You say everybody's looking for the silver bullet, and they're never going to find that silver bullet to fix it. So the building this relationship and here's the problems we're having, looking at the ports, do we put out old netting like it used to do, in World War II? What do you do? How do you stop that? Do you increase your patrols? Well, that increases your manpower. That increases your cost of how many boats you got working out there. I know, like even the state of Florida, we have the Florida State Guard that got stood up. They have boats. I've been working with them. I put them on the Domestic Security Oversight Council, which oversees our state, and they're sitting on the council with us now, and they have this capability. And one of the areas where I told them they could be very, very helpful is working with the ports because they have the boats and the capabilities. If you have a threat and you can augment the security teams that are already in our ports, and you can be there and run exercises and be out there to do a extended perimeter around the ports and patrols during a existential threat, or even just do it periodically, right? To change up so you're not predictable. I mean, these are the things we're looking at. I was looking at UAV stuff, and it's like I found a thing from 12 years ago. Guy developed a really nice netting from a shotgun, and to take down large animals. So, maybe you could do that. We just did a crucible, UAV crucible with the military and a bunch of host nations. And tell you, that'll scare you too, seeing where we're truly at with that. You watch the Ukrainian war. You watch how they're broadcasting, how they're able to do it. No longer do you have to worry about somebody jumping your fence. They just fly a UAV to go to a key area. So you got to find what is those key vulnerabilities in your port that you got to protect, and that's where you got to spend most of your money on, just like the banks used to do with the vaults. Now, how many times you can see a bank thrown up now? They don't even really have a vault anymore because everything's electronically. We got to move with the times, and we can't have concrete shoes. So we have to come up and be innovative in it. So there's no one solution, but dang, we got to start unleashing these great minds we have. So good question, sir. Great question. Any others? Yes, sir.
We've heard so far today about drones, cyber, physical, climate issues, weather impacts, hurricanes. Has the state considered a tax incentive program or a resilience fund?
Say that what again?
Has the state considered a port resilience fund or a tax credit to allow ports and terminals to invest in order to tap into when these things do happen?
That's a great idea. Thank God I don't do economics. That's a great idea. I don't know. I'll have to check into that. So I know Division of Emergency Management would be looking at most of that to have that type of capability, or even on the CFO's office. I don't know if they would be looking at that, but I will take your question on that one because I like that, if there's some type of credit there. Apologize I couldn't answer that one for you, but that's a great idea though.
Is this working? In Texas and Houston, they have the Houston Ship Channel Security District, and it's a way for them to collect funds from all of the different private stakeholders, and it is used for security and resilience and recovery efforts, technologies, capabilities. So if you have time, take a look at that. It's called the Houston Ship Channel Security District.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. I used to be out in Beaumont and Port Arthur, so I kind of was familiar with that area with the Coast Guard, but that's, I'll get with you after this. Thank you, sir. Any other questions? They're stumping the chump up here, I'm telling you. Yes, ma'am.
I wondered when it came to, you said that you had host nations participate in the Crucible, correct?
Yes. I was a member. I wasn't the one to put it on. That was another entity put that on.
So, since you also mentioned that there had been attacks by the Houthis and the Red Sea is indeed a critical port and trade route, Israel has developed a laser technology to be able to shoot things out of the sky for essentially dollars instead of the very expensive ballistic missiles. And so when it comes to reducing costs, have you also considered looking into technologies such as lasers to reduce the cost of being able to shoot down drones?
Well, if you look at it in the industry, the defense-based industry, and by the way, Florida's full of the defense-based industry here, and that's another reason why you have a lot of foreign nations in here snooping and pooping in our area. So that's just an old country boy in me talking there. But they're here because that capability is here. You have SpaceX, you have all this stuff that is going on there behind the scenes. And what they're doing and what technologies they're developing, I'm not privy to. However, that does make, I don't know if that's even feasible at this point. I don't know if our technology, I've seen some of the technology and some of it is good, but I have not seen all the technology. Great job though, I mean.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper than the current systems, and so there are some issues with like the time it takes. One of the issues was that since it's laser based, it can take time to remove an object from the sky. So that was part of why, because I'm not sure how fast the drones are going, or if they don't have radio frequencies, how you could be able to predict their location to be able to take them out of the sky.
Well, you have some of the best minds, and I was watching what they were doing, and technology they have is not necessarily picking up the RF frequency, but a lot of it is audio, the type of the noise it makes that is different than most other noises. And they were showing me that technology, and how far they can pick that noise up is amazing. So to be able to do that is, I mean, just, you see the innovative minds that are coming up with different ways to attack something, but, I'm sure they have thought about that, but you got to worry about, how much power source do you need to do that in order to make that happen? It's very precise, and it's very interesting to watch when they did the Crucible, how they defeat some of the stuff. Yes, sir.
Commissioner Glass, thank you. Do we know the extent of Chinese state government ownership of, directly or indirectly, the operating companies for Florida's ports, and what is our position with respect to the operation by the Chinese government with respect to any of Florida's ports?
Well, if you look at some of the stuff that is the foreign nations owning land in and around farmland, you saw that our Commissioner of Agriculture, Wilton Simpson, championed through legislation. That was huge. Looking at, you got shell companies, and you got to really find out who's behind the companies that own certain things. You have different other type of capabilities, but some of that area there, they have, when you're looking at that type of stuff information-wise, it's very hard to do that when it's, like for me, I have to look, what is the criminal predicate in that to look at something. That's why we encourage the Fusion Center and information sharing capability, so that way those type of questions can be thrown on the table and people can actually take a look at it. I do not have any understanding how many there is on that, but I'm sure that it's there somewhere, so apologize. Yes. Yes, sir. I've been given the signal that it's lunchtime, so I apologize on that. But I will be around if you need any questions and anything else you want to ask me. But I just want to say thanks again for allowing me to be here. And if there's anything I can do to help you and assist you in your operations, please don't hesitate. You got my number. So thank you.